Welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk about a shocking event involving Diddy, one of the most influential figures in the music industry. At his trial, his $50 million bail request was denied, leaving him in shock. Once a tycoon with a luxurious mansion and a private jet, Diddy now faces the harsh reality of a cramped prison cell. In a last-ditch effort to regain his freedom, Diddy proposed an incredible bail package that left many people in awe. Leave comment number 1, and imagine the moment when his lawyer approached him, putting all his last hope into saving him, even if it was just a brief moment of freedom. First, Diddy proposed an astounding $50 million bail, leaving many in shock. But he didn't stop there. He went further, offering his $48 million Miami mansion, complete with every luxury amenity, and even his private jet, once used for globetrotting adventures. Diddy didn't act alone. He brought his family into the equation. His mother and other family members agreed to co-sign the bail application, showcasing their united commitment to helping him out of this predicament. Remarkably, Diddy pledged to surrender his passport, vowing not to leave the country or jet off to tropical islands. He also agreed to home confinement, pleading, "Let me stay at home, just don't lock me up in jail." Diddy's lawyer made the proposal even more appealing by suggesting weekly check-ins to prove his compliance, along with a nightly guest log to monitor who enters and leaves his residence. Diddy specifically agreed to limit female visitors to only his mother, his daughters, and their mothers. He was ready to adhere to every condition, simply to avoid incarceration. However, despite all these measures, the judge coldly rejected the glittering bail package. Why? This is where things got complicated. The prosecution presented a compelling argument, asserting that Diddy was not someone who could be trusted. Some alarming details about Diddy's past have surfaced, painting a negative picture of him. One of the most shocking revelations involves messages between Diddy and his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura from 2016. In a message sent right after an incident at a hotel, Diddy is seen pleading in panic, saying, "Please call me, the police are here. I have 6 kids, please don't leave me." This reflects the level of manipulation and desperation he felt as the situation spiraled out of control. Notably, Diddy has also been accused of paying $50,000 to the hotel to delete footage showing him throwing a bottle at Cassie during an altercation, an act demonstrating his power and attempts to cover up evidence. In court, this image certainly does not help him build trust that he wouldn't tamper with evidence or witnesses. Moreover, Diddy's wealth and influence have given him multiple ways to make evidence disappear or pressure those involved in the case. The court is concerned that Diddy could use his assets to obstruct justice or even apply pressure on parties related to the case. Diddy is no stranger to controversy. He has previously been accused of bribery and obstruction of justice, so fears of him potentially interfering with witnesses this time are not unfounded. Looking at high-profile cases, Diddy's situation becomes even clearer, such as Harvey Weinstein, who was prepared to post millions of dollars in bail in 2017, but was denied because the court feared he might obstruct justice. Similarly, Jeffrey Epstein also requested a significant bail amount, but was denied due to concerns he might flee or influence witnesses. The moment Diddy heard his $50 million bail request was denied, he completely broke down. Witnesses described his face gradually showing clear signs of panic, fear, and trembling, the demeanor of a man who had just lost all control. His usual calm and composed image faded away, revealing someone deeply insecure and vulnerable. Ultimately, unable to endure the harsh reality, he collapsed under the weight of it all. An ambulance was called to take Diddy out of the courtroom in a state of complete exhaustion. This was not just a physical reaction, but also a mental breakdown. a monumental shock for someone who had once lived a life of glory and power. Now he faces a harsh reality from which he may never recover. Diddy, once surrounded by the dazzling glow of fame and unimaginable luxury, now faces a harsh reality. The days of private jets and red carpets are over, at least for now. The images of lavish mansions and a life of elite status have been replaced by scenes of a cold, cramped jail cell. For someone who had never encountered any real discomfort beyond a delayed flight or a poor review, this is an unbearable reality. The shift from a $48 million mansion to a 6x 9-foot cell is a psychological shock almost impossible to fathom. This is perhaps the moment when everything truly hits Diddy. He was accustomed to controlling everything: his career, his image, and even those around him. Now he faces a situation where money and influence can no longer save him. For anyone, this would be a massive blow to their self-esteem, but for someone like Diddy, it is a nightmare. He is now confronting a legal system with no shortcuts, no amount of money or power to turn the tide in his favor. It's worth noting that Diddy has faced legal troubles before, but always managed to find a way out, such as the infamous 1999 nightclub shooting when he and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were arrested. Diddy was ultimately acquitted, while his girlfriend faced consequences. He has always had a golden touch, and allegations or scandals seem to pass by without leaving a mark. However, this time feels different. This is not a nightclub scuffle or a minor scandal. The accusations this time are so severe that they could land him in prison for the first time in his life. Diddy realizes that this time, he may not escape. The thought of enduring not just a few years, but potentially decades behind bars caused him to break down in the courtroom. For someone who has lived like a king, the prospect of being confined in one of the country's most notorious prisons is more terrifying than he could have ever imagined. As news of Diddy's downfall spread, the music industry and fans were left shocked and concerned. Those who once saw him as an unstoppable mogul, a figure who had weathered countless scandals and storms in the industry, found it hard to believe what they were hearing. In the world of hip-hop, Diddy has always been admired as a larger-than-life figure, someone who overcame every obstacle and remained on top. However, this time, many are unsure if he can recover from this fall. On social media, reactions have been mixed. Some expressed support and hope that he can rise above this, while others were skeptical, wondering if this might be the beginning of the end for Diddy. For someone like Diddy, who built his empire on an image of strength and invincibility, the loss of reputation is not just a financial blow, but carries profound symbolic significance. Now, his world is crumbling before his eyes, and no amount of wealth or fame can fully restore it. For high-profile figures like Diddy, imprisonment is not just a loss of freedom, but an immeasurable psychological shock. Diddy, accustomed to a life of luxury, surrounded by the spotlight and public admiration for years, now faces a stark reality. Whether praised or criticized, he always had a loyal entourage, fans, and the financial means to shield him. But now, within the confines of a prison cell, he has no such protection. The isolation he faces is not merely physical solitude, but also the sudden collapse of all the values and power that have defined him for so long. Now, as Diddy faces the cold, confining walls of prison, with no trace of luxury or glory, he must come to terms with a world that is gradually closing in on him. The freedom, pride, and power of his past are now just memories, replaced by an overwhelming sense of suffocation. This has forced authorities to closely monitor him to prevent the risk of him falling into despair to the point of self-harm. Tragically, the facility where Diddy is being held, the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, is notorious as one of the harshest prisons in the United States. The conditions there are truly appalling: overcrowded, unsanitary, and stifling. During winter, the cells are freezing cold, leaving inmates shivering under thin blankets, while in summer, the spaces become oppressively hot, making it hard to breathe. Power outages are frequent, plunging inmates into darkness without heat or hot water, sometimes for days at a time. Not only overcrowded, the MDC is infamous for cramming inmates into tiny cells where privacy is virtually non-existent, and every movement is strictly monitored. For someone like Diddy, accustomed to sprawling mansions and vast open spaces, living in such confined quarters is undoubtedly an excruciating experience. Worse still, Diddy is being held in the Special Housing Unit, SHU, a section reserved for inmates requiring maximum control. This is not a standard detention area, but a place of complete isolation for those at risk of self-harm or harming others. Within the four sealed walls, Diddy not only loses his freedom but must endure the cold solitude. This is the harshest challenge for someone who once had it all, now stripped bare with no power left to change his circumstances. Now, Diddy is confined to a cramped 6x 9-foot cell, a space far smaller than the walk-in closets of many. Once living in a $48 million mansion, he now has only a thin bed, a small desk, and a cold steel toilet. No more luxury, no more comfort, just isolation and coldness in every moment. To survive, Diddy is provided with a thin blanket, a prison uniform, and a few basic personal items. The grandeur of his former home is now just a bitter memory, especially in the harsh conditions of the prison system. The steel toilet, for instance, can only be flushed 3 times a day, a strict rule designed to prevent inmates from flooding their cells. For Diddy, this stark contrast between his opulent past and his current state of deprivation only deepens the painful reminder of the long, agonizing downfall he is enduring. Diddy is allowed out of his cell for just 1 hour a day, with no one to talk to, no friends, no open spaces. Instead, he has only a small yard to stretch his legs, surrounded by walls that constantly remind him this is his entire world, a world that has shrunk to suffocating and dark confines. This starkly contrasts with his days of flying on private jets, attending lavish parties in LA, and residing in opulent mansions. Gone are the soft silk sheets and luxurious furniture. The only thing he now possesses is a thin, scratchy blanket and the cold steel bars surrounding him. For Diddy, this isn't just imprisonment. It's the harshest reality, the biggest shock of his life, unmatched in its rawness and cruelty. Now, Diddy faces another significant concern: his personal safety. His celebrity status and the severity of the charges against him have made him a prime target among inmates. In prison culture, taking down a high-profile inmate like Diddy is considered a badge of honor, a bragging right within the inmate hierarchy. Diddy's lawyers have expressed serious concerns about his safety in the facility. They have even attempted to have him transferred to another facility in New Jersey, where they believe his security would be better ensured. The charges against Diddy are not only terrifying, but also shocking for someone of his stature. If convicted, Diddy could face a life sentence. The allegations against him are reminiscent of those often brought against mafia kingpins. He is accused not only of engaging in criminal activities, but also of being the leader of a criminal organization. Authorities claim that Diddy leveraged his connections in the music industry and his massive wealth to cover up or even orchestrate serious illegal operations. Diddy is not just accused of committing crimes, but of running a large-scale criminal enterprise, using his power to control and manipulate others. When people hear about these allegations, they often think of organized crime. which is exactly what prosecutors are insinuating. Diddy's empire was not solely built on music and fashion, but allegedly had a darker side where all manner of criminal activities took place. The indictment paints a picture of a continuously operating system that spanned years. These allegations go beyond Diddy's personal actions, accusing him of using his businesses, employees, and even his security team to facilitate troubling events. From lavish parties to shady manipulative practices, many women who attended Diddy's events were allegedly coerced by his power and influence, with threats of cutting off financial support if they refused to comply. Fabricating statements and issuing threats became common tactics, especially for someone with Diddy's wealth and authority. Keeping those involved silent seemed easier than ever in such circumstances. One crucial piece of evidence presented during Diddy's bail hearing was a series of messages from 2016 involving his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. In this case, Diddy was accused of taking Cassie to a hotel and later paying the hotel to delete security footage. He also sent frantic messages begging Cassie to call back as the police were arriving. This incident is not only alarming, but also highlights Diddy's willingness to interfere with evidence and intimidate victims. As allegations of organized crime surfaced, prosecutors argued that Diddy did not act alone. They claimed that his entire business empire, from Bad Boy Records to various other ventures, was part of a criminal organization designed to support his illegal activities. Diddy's employees were allegedly complicit, helping arrange flights, recruiting women, and ensuring that everything ran smoothly. From security personnel to support staff, everyone reportedly played a role in covering up these crimes for as long as possible. When powerful and high-profile figures face such accusations, the legal consequences are often severe. Diddy's case mirrors many similar scandals, highlighting that power and wealth cannot hide the truth forever. Harvey Weinstein was once an untouchable giant in Hollywood, much like Diddy in the music industry. But when voices started to rise, everything came crashing down like an unstoppable flood. Both men tried to use their wealth and influence to control the narrative, but in the end, the truth was revealed. It's highly possible that Diddy may follow a similar path. The involvement of Jennifer Lopez and Young Miami in this situation has been a shocking twist that caught everyone off guard. This story doesn't just impact Diddy, it could also put J.Lo and Young Miami's lives at risk, with serious lawsuits looming. This situation is no longer just about Diddy, but involves several major names in the entertainment industry. Revisiting the infamous 1999 nightclub shooting when Diddy was dating Jennifer Lopez. On December 27th that year, the two were seen together at multiple locations, attending a party at a New York club to celebrate the release of an album by an artist managed by Diddy. However, the festive night quickly turned into a nightmare when an argument erupted, leaving 3 people injured. Diddy and J.Lo swiftly left the scene. Initially, it seemed like Diddy might be held accountable for the incident, but as usual, he managed to find a way out. In 2001, Diddy was acquitted of all charges, including weapons possession and bribery. Unfortunately, his companion at the time was not as fortunate, receiving a 10-year prison sentence for the shooting. However, this is just the beginning of the story. Over the years, rumors have circulated about J.Lo's role in the shocking nightclub shooting, with some believing she may have been involved in covering up a serious crime. If this is true, it would unveil a darker side to a story that has been carefully hidden. With new allegations emerging, J.Lo could once again find herself in the spotlight. Since that fateful night, J.Lo has become a global superstar, celebrated for her talent and iconic style. Much of the public seems to have forgotten her connection to the 1999 shooting, but recent lawsuits could make the situation more serious than ever. We are now facing the potential legal consequences if the case is reopened. and the court finds JLO guilty of obstructing justice. She would not only face public criticism, but could also be hit with serious charges that could impact her career and reputation. Escaping public scrutiny will not be easy, and JLo will need a solid legal strategy to defend herself against what could be the biggest storm of her life. In addition to Diddy's troubles, Young Miami is also facing serious allegations that could put her in a difficult position. Born Keisha Brownlee, Young Miami is Diddy's ex-girlfriend and garnered attention in the hip-hop world as part of a power couple with him. However, that relationship may have drawn her into unexpected trouble. One of the lawsuits against Diddy implicates Young Miami in several shocking activities. She is accused of assisting Diddy in transporting an illegal synthetic item on a private jet, specifically on April 20th, 2023, when Diddy wanted the item for an event at an underwater music festival in Virginia, but his regular supplier forgot to bring it. Diddy's team allegedly contacted Young Miami and requested that she fly from Miami to Virginia with the package. If this is true, it is not just a minor mistake, but a serious federal offense involving the interstate transportation of prohibited goods. So, what does Young Miami think about all these allegations? She has been very outspoken in defending Diddy publicly, stating that her experience with him was completely different from what others have accused him of. "I met Diddy when the whole world was celebrating him," she shared. "I feel like people are just trying to drag me into this." However, her defense of Diddy could unintentionally draw more attention to herself. If authorities decide to investigate her involvement in the alleged activities tied to Diddy, she could face serious legal consequences. For both Jennifer Lopez, JLo, and Young Miami, if the allegations in these lawsuits are proven, they could be charged as accomplices or facilitators in Diddy's crimes. For JLo, the 1999 nightclub shooting remains a haunting specter, with lingering public questions about her potential involvement. It may not take long for prosecutors to reopen the case and bring her back to court. For Young Miami, the situation is even more serious. If she is found guilty of aiding Diddy in transporting illegal goods, she could face hefty fines and legal repercussions. Still in the early stages of her music career, the legal troubles surrounding Diddy have grown so severe that they are now affecting not only him, but also those close to him. JLo and Young Miami may have thought their relationships with Diddy were just parts of their private lives, but now those connections pose a very real threat to their futures. This serves as a reminder that things can quickly spiral out of control when you're associated with someone facing such serious allegations. Ultimately, it's still unclear how things will unfold for JLo and Young Miami, but one thing is certain, they won't be stepping out of the public eye anytime soon. The court of public opinion has already weighed in, and if the legal system gets involved, the situation could become much more serious. Both of these women have built remarkable careers, but this may be the greatest challenge they've ever faced. If they are charged and convicted, their reputations and futures could suffer severe damage. In the world of Hollywood, where image is everything, they might not be able to afford the risks these allegations bring. When people think of Diddy, they imagine a life of luxury with mansions, designer clothes, and private jets. However, he now faces a starkly different reality at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn, often referred to as hell on earth. This is no exaggeration. The conditions there are truly unimaginable. One significant incident occurred in 2019 when the prison lost power for over a week in the middle of winter. Inmates were forced to live in darkness without heating or hot water, wrapping themselves in anything they could find to stay warm. Outsiders tried to draw attention to these dire conditions by banging on the prison walls, while inmates responded by flashing lights from their cells, signaling their desperation. However, for several days, the situation did not improve. Although power was eventually restored, living conditions at MDC remained dire. Sanitation and health issues are major concerns, with mold growing on walls, piles of trash, and a lack of clean water. For Diddy, who is accustomed to a life of luxury, moving to a place infested with rats and mold is nothing short of a nightmare. Moreover, the water at MDC is often undrinkable, leaving many inmates without clean water for days, which makes the spread of illness alarmingly easy. They also have to remain vigilant against fights that can break out at any time. This is especially dangerous for Diddy, who has become a target in a prison where taking down a celebrity is often seen as a way to earn respect. Currently, Diddy is being held in solitary confinement in a 6x 9-foot cell for 23 hours a day. No interaction, no stimulation, just 4 cold, unyielding walls. This solitude is an unbearable burden for someone accustomed to being surrounded by people and constant activity. The psychological effects of solitary confinement are well documented. Inmates often experience severe depression, anxiety, and a profound sense of hopelessness. Over time, this isolation can lead to SHU syndrome, a condition where prisoners become so disconnected from reality that they begin to lose their sanity. The lack of meaningful human contact, combined with the deplorable living conditions, creates an environment where survival is not just a physical challenge, but also a mental one. For Diddy, a man who once thrived in the spotlight, being cut off from everything he once knew is undoubtedly a harrowing punishment. Not only has he lost his luxury, but he has also been stripped of everything that once made him feel powerful and in control. MDC has become a world completely alien to the life Diddy was accustomed to. While his lawyers are working to transfer him to a safer facility. For now, he remains stuck in a place where even getting through each day is a struggle. The physical hardships, fear, and psychological strain of solitary confinement are breaking him down mentally. If the situation doesn't change soon, this prison sentence may become the harshest reality Diddy has ever had to endure.